listeners, Movie Miss here, and the episode you are about to listen to is one of two episodes that cover the same film. I thought I would give you a warning because this is a format that you are not used to hearing on the show. This was a trial run back in season 1 when my co-host was Nikki Flicks. We weren't really wanting to heavily debate movies where one of us liked a film and one of us hated the film. We didn't feel like that would be a whole lot of fun, so we were giving this solo episode a trial run. We covered 4 films in this fashion, and I will be releasing them into the main feed. What happened was I would pick a film that I pretty much hated. I recorded an episode, a full episode, doing a plot walkthrough and scene dissection, talking about in depth my thoughts and feelings on everything happening. And then Nikki would take the opposing opinion and opposing views and do the same thing on her full-length episode. She would do a full plot walkthrough, scene dissection, discussing positive themes and notes and kind of defending the film in a way. So we just thought that would be an easier format for discussing movies that I really didn't care for. I will be dropping both opposing episodes at the same time, so you can choose which one you want to listen to, or if you want the back and forth, listen to both and see maybe one of us will sway you to the dark side. With me, I have cookies, come to the dark side. With all of that said, here is the episode. Enjoy.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal: providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
It used to be that calling a film a turkey was an insult. Nowadays, there's actually an audience for some of the worst movies ever made.
Baby, you are gonna go broke showing turkeys like these.
Now we're talking turkey.
Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
It's turkey time. Gobble, gobble.
Welcome everyone to another mini-sode for Let's Talk Turkeys. I'm Movie Miss, and today I'm going to be ranting about my passionate disdain and hatred for the 2008 film Twilight. Now, I guess technically it falls in as a turkey and we could have discussed it as an episode, but I have so much that I think is wrong with this movie, and I hate this movie passionately, that I don't think it would be a fun discussion to have with anybody else, because I really can just pick this apart to no end. So hopefully, if you agree with me, you will enjoy this episode. And if you disagree with me, maybe you'll still enjoy it, and then maybe you can reach out to me on socials and let me know what you think I have wrong and what you like about this movie. I'm always up for a bad movie conversation. Okay, so let's dive in. Like I said, this is going to be the 2008 movie Twilight. Rotten Tomatoes score of only 49% for critics, so it is technically a turkey. Audience score 73%. So the masses did enjoy it. That's also verified with the box office. It had a budget of $37 million, $407 million worldwide box office. So this was definitely a movement, a phenomenon. People read the book. People were passionate. It had a huge following because the book had been out for, I think, 3 years at this point, 3 or 4 years. So I can understand why it did well in that regard. Okay, so let me just get this out of the way really quick. I saw this movie in 2008 when it came out and was not impressed. And then I remember seeing commercials and previews for the second film, New Moon, and it looked like it had a lot more Jacob and wolves and other things going on in the story. So I was intrigued, thinking, well, it's got to be better than Twilight. So of course I went and saw New Moon. and I was let down. I didn't really care for it. However, again, in rapid succession, here comes, I believe it was Eclipse, the third movie. Again, still having not read any of the books, I went to see Eclipse, and I think that's what it's called. I didn't write it down in my notes, and I'm so sorry if I'm getting it wrong. But that movie, the third film in the franchise, I absolutely loved because it was dark. It was all about vampire attacks and the threat that's coming. And it was far less interested in the light, fluffy nonsense that we get in this first film. I loved Eclipse. And then, believe the fourth film, they took the final book and they split it into two films, Breaking Dawn 1 and 2. And again, I had loved Eclipse so much that I was pumped at this point. I ran out and saw Breaking Dawn Part 1. And I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. I was just kind of like, okay, we're getting to the end of the journey here. I might as well stick this out. Well, it was going to be a whole nother year because that's what they do. They stretch this shit out when they're going to release part 1 and part 2 of something. So I broke down and I borrowed a book from my best friend at the time. She had read all the books. And so she loaned me Breaking Dawn because I had to know how it ended. And I will say the book was boring as shit, poorly written, and a huge letdown as far as action and suspense and excitement and horror goes. So I was pleasantly surprised when I went to see Breaking Dawn Part 2 finally and have all this, stuff wrap up. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Breaking Dawn, tune out for the next 30 seconds. In the final movie, there is a giant, Alice predicts the future and sees this giant fight scene. Everything goes wrong. I can't talk. The negotiation at the end goes awry and it becomes this huge battle. And it's so graphic and so awesome and so exciting and bloody and scary. And what's going to happen? And then cut to, turns out it was just all a vision. They go ahead and peacefully negotiate, end of movie. Because that's what happens in the book. It's all peaceful. There's no big crazy, Alice doesn't see the future. There isn't this big crazy fight scene in the book. And so I was so happy that they did that in the movie because it made the movie exponentially better. As far as the films go, definitely Eclipse. I keep saying Eclipse and I keep saying I don't know if that's right. So my apologies if it's wrong. But that's my favorite. Then Breaking Dawn 2, then 1, then New Moon, then Twilight. This is my least favorite, the one we're talking about today, of the franchise. And it's, I think, partly because it's 121 minutes with credits. It is painfully long. It took me 3 stretches to get through it. I had to keep pausing it and take breaks because it was so painful and boring. So boring. It really paints the picture. It makes me not want to read the book because it paints the picture that Bella is a certain way. And if her character is like this in the book and the book fleshes her out more and you get more of it, no thank you. The book was written by Stephanie Meyer, published in, I think, 2005. I will say she was like 30 something when she wrote this. She was married in 94 and had 3 kids. She'd been married at like 21 years old. So it makes complete sense to me that this 30-something-year-old woman would write this nonsensical Romeo and Juliet fantasy bullshit. She just wrote cliches, garbage that she had seen over the years, I'm sure, because she'd been married so young and been married so long and had 3 kids. She'd lost touch with, I don't know, the spark of young love, the excitement, the, forbidden aspect, the danger, all that nonsense that I guess she'd been missing in her real life. Decided to write about it and it took hold. People caught on. People enjoyed it. I'm guessing young readers because the movie's PG-13. And again, like I said, I haven't read the first book, so I'm assuming that it's targeted at the young adult audience, which I could see how that would be appealing. A lot of them could probably relate to the... I was a teenager myself, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm watching this movie as a 30-something-year-old when it came out, and I'm thinking to myself, fucking teenagers, man. Everything's drama, everything's heightened, everything's exciting, everything is melodramatic. I'm in love with everybody after 3 minutes. My world is ending after 5. It's so heightened and ridiculous, and I just... It's so painful. It really is. It's so hard to sit through. But anyway, okay, enough about all that. Let's dive in to this awesome movie because, yes, we are going to go bit by bit. So the movie opens black screen with voiceover narration that we later learn is Bella. And she's talking, saying some quote about dying in the place of someone you love. And then we cut to a deer being chased by an unseen predator in the woods. Cut to a girl still narrating while it shows, we assume, is Bella packing up her house with some people, her parents, getting ready to leave this beautiful desert town. And she's narrating about leaving Phoenix because her mom and her new husband want to travel. So she's going to go stay with her dad for a while. Opening credits begin. She's flying out of Phoenix. Cut to her driving in this gloomy, woodsy, rainy looking part of the country, driving with her dad. And we find out it's the city of Forks, Washington, as she continually is narrating over everything that's happening, which I'm going to say I'm not a fan of narration in movies unless it is really moving the plot forward and helping you understand something. This whole opening, she's just narrating everything we're watching. So, what the fuck? You don't need to be telling me that you're doing this stuff because I can see that you're doing this stuff. So it's really lazy and frustrating and hits the point home of what's happening. And of course, Kristen Stewart, who plays Bella, her voiceover lacks emotion and in the delivery, it's so flat and boring. It's like, seriously, who cares? Really. Anyway, all right. So, yeah, I'm not very enthused about this opening. I'm just going to throw it out there. So, the screenwriter who adapted this, I didn't write down their name cuz who cares. She or he lazily uses the script to point out that she and her dad aren't close, with the narration flat out telling us, just for good measure, that they aren't close, and then that she hasn't been there in a long time, in a couple summers or whatever, or many years, I think she said, actually. And then add to that the dad saying out loud, commenting, "Oh, your hair looks longer." And she's like, "Oh, well, I've changed it," or whatever. If I could face palm for you right now, I would. We don't need the overall narration, the distance between them that we can see while they're traveling, and then the flat out comment about, "Oh, your hair looks different," and, "Oh, dad, you just don't get it. It's changed. It's been so long." Like, yeah, okay, hammer the point home. We get it. You guys aren't close. Awesome. Okay. So, and then as soon as they set foot in the house, sweet dad, salt of the earth dad, trying to do his best here, tells her immediately, "Well, I've cleared out some shelves for you in the bathroom." And snotty, ungrateful, teenage, brooding girl immediately says, "Oh, right, one bathroom." Listen here, you entitled little cunt. Where do you think you were staying? The Hilton? Like, you knew you were going to your dad's house. You've been there before. Do you not remember? Yeah, he had the one bathroom. I mean, you didn't want to go on the road with your mom and her new husband. You chose to come here. So don't be a little bitch about it. Like, suck it up. Seriously. I wanted to reach in the screen and slap her. Really? Some people have a community bathroom that they share. Some people have no bathroom. Like, fuck off. Really? This makes me hate her at like 2 minutes in. I already hate her. I don't care. I feel like she's an entitled little snot. I don't even like that she doesn't even call him dad for a while. She calls him Charlie. And it's like how disrespectful. I can't get on board with that. So this is where we now learn her name is Bella, finally, after 5 minutes in. Her dad, Charlie's Native American friends, Billy and his son Jacob, show up and he introduces her. "Oh, this is my daughter Bella." So it's like, oh, okay. I had not read the book, so I didn't know who she was. So it was nice after 5 minutes to finally learn who she is and why we should care about anything that's going on with her. And I will say, even though it's a terrible wig on Jacob, he's got more luxurious hair than Bella does and impossibly white teeth. So how are they that white? Does he use crest strips, or is it simply because the film saturation and the hue that they have of that weird bluish grayish greenish hue to make everything look extra gloomy and despondent, if it's just making his teeth pop. Because I'll tell you what, as soon as Jacob smiled, I was like, hello. Now, it was wrong. When I first saw him, I was in my 30s, and I think he was 17, 16 or 17. I should not have been impressed by him, but I was. Mostly the smile. I was like, look at those dang teeth. He must get some good dental care on the reservation because damn. And his hair, oh, beautiful hair. I mean, yes, it was a wig, as we learn in the next film, because I believe he has his head shaved. I don't really recall, but big transition. I think he pulled it off though. I liked the long hair. I've lived in Washington State, and it's not that gloomy and dreary looking all the time. Yes, it rains a lot. Yes, it's overcast a lot. But this bizarre blue hue that they put over, I don't know if it's a filter or what when they're filming or if they did it in post, but I don't care for it. It's ugly to watch and it's depressing to watch, and I really don't like it. I don't know how anybody sat through this and enjoyed and felt a feeling of happiness or anything other than sadness watching this blue movie. It's pretty bad. And if you're going to go ahead and do a rewatch, pay attention. The hues are really blue and really gray and just dark. Okay, so immediately Charlie gives his daughter Bella a rebuilt truck that Jacob helped with, and they take off for a little test drive. And then we immediately cut to so weird. Immediately cut to Bella pulling into school in the parking lot in this truck by herself. And we get voiceover narration of her complaining that she's at a new school and she's going to be the new kid. And it's so hard being in Forks. Oh my God. I wanted to reach through the screen and be like, bitch, we are not even a couple days into this move and you're already whining and complaining about the bathroom and the relationship with your dad, which is your own fault because you didn't connect with them over the years. And then you got to be here in Forks because you didn't want to go on the road. Your choice. Now you got to go to the new school. You had to know that moving meant going to a new school. Suck it up, Buttercup. Like, why are you whining about it so much? Ugh, I was dying. So she pulls into the new school. And of course, there's people everywhere in the parking lot. And the parking lot's full of cars. And she gets a spot right up front magically. I don't know how that happens. So, okay, so Bella's wandering the hall, and this kid named Eric, this Asian American kid, I freaking love him. He's the tiny little one of the tiny little bright spots in this dreary ass movie. He's so manic, he's so hyper. He immediately says he knows who she is, which is bizarre, calls her by her full name, Isabella Swan. And which is so bad. That's such a bad name. I'm going to just say Stephanie Meyer. Terrible. And he totally knows who she is. He tells her he's like the head of the school paper and I can be your guide to the school and you need to be my friend, and like fully manically jumping around like he's on crack, and he's like totally freaking her out because she retreats physically into this little like shrunken state of herself, and you can tell she's like, whoa, buddy. That's the only time I felt like she really did some acting in this movie. She's just like totally put off by his crazy energy. I think she could have used some of it. I think if he would have been a little more infectious and rubbed off on her, that's what she needed. She needed to find a balance out of that dreary hell in her brain that tells her the world is terrible and bleak and her life sucks. So he tells her that she's front page news. Since when? I went to high school in the 80s, and I'm here to tell you, don't nobody care then, don't nobody care in the 2000s, don't nobody care who the new kid is. For real, especially when you're this little shrunken violet who doesn't comb your hair, doesn't wear makeup, wears a plaid shirt and jeans, and stands in the corner ignoring everybody, looking like you're sulking every 3 seconds. Nobody gives a shit about you. So it's kind of funny that he's like, she's your front page news. And she's just like, no, yeah, for some reason you are. I I don't know why. Maybe it's so boring in Forks that when a new kid shows up, it's super exciting. Cut to Bella in gym class, and she accidentally hits this young man in the head with the volleyball. And it's so bad. This movie's so bad. I swear to God. He comes over and he's like, "Hey, I know who you are. You're Bella." And it's like, what? And then he introduces that he's Mike and he puts his hand out and shakes hands like they're at a fucking board meeting in their 30s. You're teenagers. Who shakes hands when you meet another teenager, especially at school? You don't do that. I don't care. You don't. It was so lame. I'm like, okay, so here comes another tiny bright spot in the movie. Lomas Anna Kendrick as Jessica, severely underused in this movie, is Bella's small ragtag group of friends that she has immediately upon arriving in Forks. And Jessica's one of them. She is smiling. She's Miss Optimist. She's everything bright and sunny that you want in a friend. Super positive, happy, severely underused in this movie. Like I said, it's a shame, but she's given Mike goo goo eyes, and so it's super cute. So we cut to lunch where Jessica and Mike and that kid Eric invite Bella to come sit with them. And then some random kid that we find out later is Mike's friend Tyler, I believe, comes running up from behind and kisses Bella on the cheek really quick and runs away as a joke on Mike, a prank on Mike, because he thinks that Mike's hitting on her. It's so bizarre. I've never seen anybody who was a couple make out or kiss on the cheek or hold hands or do anything in high school, let alone run up and kiss somebody on the cheek you don't know as a prank on one of your buddies. Like, what? I don't think so. And Bella's all shocked and like, oh, who's that? Oh, it's so bad. And then another girl shows up and she joins the group and tries to take Bella's picture, saying it's Bella's front page news. And so she needs a picture. And it's it's so lame. I believe that the girl who's going to take the picture is oh my gosh, I can't think of her name. Oh, okay, hold on, I have to look it up. So clearly, I didn't take as extensive notes on the cast as I should have. My apologies. But the girl with the camera is Christian Serratos, who is currently playing Selena on Netflix, and she's from The Walking Dead. She is so adorable in Twilight. Oh my gosh. Another, like I was saying earlier about Jessica, and Bella's ragtag little group of friends that she makes. They are such a little bright spot in this dreary ass movie. She's so cute. She wants to take her picture, but of course, Bella wants to shut that shit down. And, you know, Eric, of course, jumps up and says, well, I'm the head of the paper and we're not going to do that or whatever. And he leaves. So she starts whining about, oh, I guess I'm going to have to do another story on the dangers of teenage drinking. Wah wah. And then Bella thinks she's going to put her 2 cents in. And she's like, well, I guess you could do one on eating disorders or something. And I'm like, wow, how is that funny? That's not funny at all. Why would you say that? Like, oh my God. And so then she tries to lighten the mood by making another comment on doing an article on the Speedo padding on the swim team. What? What the fuck is that? The pedos I can't talk. Speedo padding. Yeah, say that 3 times fast. Okay. Anyway, why would you want that in your school newspaper? I have no idea. Then, of course, enter the Cullens. They come in with all their swagger. So, as they start to enter the lunchroom in classic teen movie style, which is so cookie cutter and formulaic, Jessica starts to tell Bella about them one by one. She mentions Dr. and Mrs. Cullen have their foster kids, but they're also coupled up, so it's kind of weird. You meet Rosalie and Emmett. She points out that they're an item. Alice, who's really weird. I guess weird is the word of the day. And she's with Jasper, who looks like he's always in pain. Okay, they show Alice and Jasper, and I swear to God, he has permanent deer in the headlights face. He doesn't look like he's in pain. He looks like he wants to know what the hell is happening right now. All the time. Like he has no idea where he is or what's happening. It's so bad. And then, of course, we meet the straggler, Edward, whom Jessica points out is very single because he's clearly so picky. I would say he's single because he's not an attractive fellow. That's my opinion. I can't get past, and I will tell you right now, I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. And I'd be the first one to give you a list of all my physical flaws. However, because I can be so open and judgmental with myself, I feel free to be judgmental of others' physical appearance, like Mr. Robert Pattinson as Edward. I do not like his pompadour, Rebel Without a Cause hairdo. I do not care for his flat facial features. I do not care that they put contacts on him so he can't really emote with his eyes. He's seems to be tall and waifish in stature. He's just physically not my bag at all. I am definitely more, Team Jacob, as the young kids would have said back then. Are you Team Edward or Team Jacob? Physically, I like the tall, dark, and handsome, more muscular build. So yeah, Edward is not my bag, and I think that's why he was single. But So then we cut to Bella entering biology class late, of course, so that everyone has to stare at her, even though she was clearly in school on time already. And the only available seat is next to Edward, of course, who, as we learn later in the movie, gets a whiff of her scent because she happens to come in to the room and stand in front of a giant fan, which, let me tell you right now, folks, living in Washington and it's cold and rainy outside, they got the heaters on. If anything, they don't have a giant fan in the classroom. That's only in the dead of summer if the air conditioning breaks. We rarely use fans in the Pacific Northwest. So anyway, he gets a whiff of her and he's upset that he has to sit next to her, and he's given her the cold silent treatment and the cold stare, and he storms out of the classroom as the bell is ringing for class to end. And then Bella stumbles in on him in the front office asking if he can switch classes, and the lady's like, oh, I'm sorry, all the classes, they're full. Which okay, Bella is a brand new student. You found room to put her ass in classes. So what's moving Edward out of biology in one period to biology in a different period? Like, how is that a big deal? So stupid. I don't know. Maybe just to further the little beginning of the film that, she thinks he doesn't like her for some reason. And really, she doesn't even know him, doesn't know who he is or what he's about at this point. So who gives a shit if he doesn't want to sit by you? Really, who cares? Then we get Bella in voiceover. There is so much voiceover and narration in this fucking movie. Uh, uh, just give it to me on the screen. Give me the movie. Play it out. Why you got to do all this voiceover bullshit? It's so fucking lazy. But we get a voiceover that she wants to confront Edward and ask him what his problem is. Oh my God. Teen drama bullshit. She is a drama queen. Stop. Stop. I'm going to start calling her Mella instead of Bella. She's melodrama all day long. Who cares why this stranger that you don't know doesn't want to be around you? Several days go by. He's a no-show at school. And then we get a cut to scene of a guy working at a job site in the woods, and he gets attacked. He gets chased and attacked by two people, and we don't see who they are. This movie could have really benefited from a director who had more than just a couple movies under their belt at this point, because the attack scene, like the deer in the beginning really quick, and now the person who gets attacked, it's like there's no suspense, no tension, no excitement, nothing building around being invested in what's happening. And, we find out the local police think it's animal attacks, on everything and everybody. They don't realize it's vampires, but we don't even get the excitement or intrigue of what's happening and, big tension buildup in the shooting of the scenes. Like, the director just severely let everybody down with the depiction of these scenes on screen. They're so quick and they're so choppy, and you don't even get to see half the time who the villain is, who the killers are. So that's a bit of a bummer. But we cut again now to Bella back in biology class, and Edward immediately introduces himself and they start to make pleasant small talk about the weather as they do their lab quiz because they have to be lab partners. And Edward asks why she moved there. This kills me. Bella says, it's complicated. Bitch, ain't nothing complicated about your situation. There she is again, making drama out of nothing. Because then, after saying that, again, lazy script writing, she's going to go ahead and tell him, well, my mom remarried and he's a nice guy, but he travels and I didn't really want to travel with them, so I came to stay with my dad. The end. It's not complicated. Oh God. Is she trying to like make herself seem more interesting than she actually is? That must be it, right? She's overly drama queen. It kills me. Okay. So, out in the parking lot, Bella is standing by her truck with her back turned to everything, with little headphones in. And I'm going to just say right now, before I go to the rest of the scene, when I have my headphones in, unless my music is turned up to 100, I can still hear everything going on around me, especially cars driving by. So, I find this 100% unbelievable that she would have her back, even with headphones in, and not hear the commotion behind her. In any event, she can't hear what's happening. And their friend Tyler, the one who had kissed her on the cheek earlier, we find out is a friend of their group, he's driving his van. He comes barreling into the parking lot and swerves out of the way of a car backing out. He heads straight for Bella. Edward suddenly appears in frame, pushes Bella to the ground, stops the van from crushing her with his hands, and she's like looking at him in disbelief. And he just hops up and runs away. And Tyler's like freaking out. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm going to throw this out there. My niece, when she first saw this movie, she was little. She did like every other young girl, and she was like, Team Jacob or Team Edward. And if I remember correctly, my niece was Team Edward. So much so that somebody jokingly got her a big cardboard standee cutout of Edward because they just thought that would be funny for her to, to have because she was Team Edward. But I remember specifically because I hated Bella so much, even at the time, she asked me, was I Team Edward or Team Jacob? And I remember the look on her face when I said, no, I'm neither. And she was like, what? I said, I am Team Guy who almost hit Bella with his van. That's the team I'm on. I wish Edward would not have intervened. Because that's how much I didn't like Bella. I wasn't happy she was saved. I was like, hit the bitch, send her to the hospital. Let's move on to a more interesting character. So yeah, that was pretty funny. She was like, okay, well, I'm Team Edward. I was like, yeah, good for you. You like the sparkly thing. Okay. So we cut to Bella and Tyler in the hospital, and her dad, who's the chief of police, if I haven't already mentioned, shows up, and a very pale Dr. Cullen comes in. He just basically kicks the nurse out and he's like, I'll take it from here. And Bella's like, did you know that Edward was there and he pushed me out of the way or whatever? And Dr. Cullen's like, oh, okay. So anyway, and he like leaves, totally dismisses out of hand what Bella's saying. He's meeting in the hall with Rosalie and Edward. And of course, Bella eavesdropping, like Edward catches her, eye and runs over and is like, I don't know what you think you saw. And she's like, well, I know what I saw. Don't lie to me. And he's just like, yeah, you didn't see that. And even if you did, nobody's going to believe you. Yada, yada, yada. So totally predictable stuff happening. It's icy and rainy and shitty outside, and Bella's got no coat on. But because she has no coat on, you can notice her transition in wardrobe from the very broody, dark, depressing outfits that she's wearing in the very beginning to now where she's got like a lighter colored shirt on. Her hair is pulled back like with a little headband. So I feel like they thought that they were going to quietly show us a transition in being around Edward and how her personality changes and it affects physically with how she's looking. She's trying to look more approachable and appealing. And I'm here to tell you it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I did notice that that's what they thought they were doing. and they thought they were being so clever. But the fact that I picked up on it and I'm telling you no means you're not that clever. So at school the next day, Mike asks Bella to prom, but she doesn't really pay attention to him because she's distracted staring at Edward across the parking lot, which again, I guess it's because she's still processing what happened with the van and she's just like in shock that that happened and she's like, what's up with him? And it's so crazy and he's so mysterious and it's, oh, fuck off. So she totally ignores this awesome guy asking her to prom. She declines and says she's got non-refundable tickets to Jacksonville, but he should ask Jessica because she's totally into him. Poor Mike. We find out that it works out for him for the best in the long run anyway, because at the end he clearly seems to be having a good time with Jessica, who gives a shit. So they all get on this field trip bus. They all take buses. I don't remember doing that in high school ever, except when I was on the color guard and we had to go with the band to football games to perform. That's the only time we ever took a bus. So all these kids pile on this bus for a field trip to learn about composting. Only in the fucking Pacific Northwest, y'all. I'm here to tell you. They have this field trip to the composting plant. It's so stupid. They're just all walking through. Boys are playing with worms on sticks and sticking them in girls' faces, going, ew, worms! Like, what are you, 12? You're like 16, 17, 18, and you're playing with worms on a stick? Who wrote this shit? I don't know. I mean, teenage boys are morons, yes, but playing with the worms and sticking them in girls' faces, and then you're going to turn around and ask them to prom? Like, what? This movie just confounds me, for real. Okay, so Edward tells Bella they shouldn't be friends. If you don't want to be friends with her, just stay away from her. Problem solved. You've been doing it for hundreds of years, apparently. So he tells Bella they shouldn't be friends. She asks if he regrets saving her. Of course, he says no. Teen drama out of nothing. She makes drama. She should be a fucking magician. It's like, poof, drama out of nothing. Do you regret saving me? What? Fuck off. Really? You're not special. Even though everyone tries to tell you that you're the headline news because you're the new kid in school, you're not fucking special. Okay? So at school the next day, Bella's making a salad at a buffet style salad bar that they have in their cafeteria. What? We had food lines and lunch lines at our schools, but we didn't have like a big open, home style buffet style salad bar. But anyway, she's making a salad and she drops her apple, and Edward saves it from falling on the floor with a little kick move with his foot, which clearly only a vampire can do. It's this magical swoop of the foot, and he saves the apple from hitting the floor. Okay, so that's supposed to be really cool and impressive to Bella, because clearly only a vampire can do that. This is where I lost my shit, okay? She says his mood swings are giving her whiplash. Okay, slow down here. Her teen, angsty, melodramatic ass is one to talk. First of all, on mood swings with this bullshit, okay? I don't think she really has enough to go on here judging him. They've barely interacted up to this point. How can you judge him in that way on the limited interactions you've had? For real. I don't know. So she invites Edward, because I guess, they're going to be friends now, to the beach with everyone. And she's like, I think we just need to hang out and just have fun. I really don't think she knows how, to be honest with you. From what we've seen, I don't think this girl has any idea how to have a good time. For real. What is her idea of fun? Wearing brown and gray instead of black? Changing it up? Is that what's fun to her? I don't know. Putting on her Nina Simone albums and brooding in her room quietly for a couple of hours every night? I'd like some fun at this point. I mean, we're 30 minutes in and nothing substantial has happened yet. 30 minutes. Okay? 9 pages deep on notes of nothing that's happened. 30 minutes. It's so painful, you guys. For real. All right. So her friends, they all go to the beach. And it's so funny because they're all out there like in their little wetsuits and gonna surf. But she's back at the van wearing a jacket, a hat, and wrapped in a comforter or I don't know, something Afghan. I don't know. Jacob shows up out of nowhere and tells Bella a bunch of exposition dump here that his tribe is descended from wolves and their territory is where that beach is, and that's why Edward didn't come even though she invited him, because the Cullens don't go there because they're descended from an enemy clan. And then he further explains that the clans made a treaty not to expose each other as long as the Cullens stay off the tribal lands. Bella, of course, says, "What? Say what?" And Jacob says, "But of course, none of that's true. That's just nonsense. But, that's what I hear." It's so stupid. It's so dumb. It's like he's in this movie in like 3 scenes for maybe a total of 6 minutes, and it's just stupidity. He's not even used well in this movie, which is a shame because those teeth, and that glorious head of hair. Next scene, we get a guy in a boathouse and he gets confronted by a woman and 2 men who are clearly vampires in there to kill him. We get nothing though. We get to see them at least, and we get the impending implied threat that he's going to die, but we get nothing visually. I'm guessing because it's a PG-13 film. And again, I didn't read the book, so I don't know if it's graphic in the book, but I'm a little frustrated that we don't get to find out who these people are, and it's not exciting or thrilling. It's just a thing that happens. So it falls into the boring category. Still bored watching this movie. Cut to Bella Googling the legend that Jacob told her about. And she finds a local bookstore that has the books on this subject. So we cut to school again, and the girls tell Bella that they need her, even though she's not going to prom, they need her opinion to go prom dress shopping with them. She reluctantly agrees, and it's only because she wants to go to it's the same town where they're going to go look for dresses, where this bookstore is that she wants to go to. She selfishly says, "Oh, yeah, I'll go." While they're in the dress store, here is, Christian Serratos and Anna Kendrick, and they're trying on dresses and they're being so cute and they're so excited. And here's Bella sitting in the window, not really paying attention, couldn't give two shits. This group of guys walk by and bang on the window and hoot and holler and whistle at the girls, which in real life, who does that? Nobody. Bella's like, I think I just need to really go to this bookstore, you guys. So I'll just meet you at the restaurant. And as she's leaving, I believe it's Anna Kendrick says, well, she wasn't really into it anyway. Like they could tell that she selfishly wanted to ditch them and couldn't give two shits that her friends are excited to go to prom. Bella is a bad friend. Okay, I'm just going to say it. She couldn't give two shits about what's going on in her friends' lives because she's obsessed about this stupid fucking legend that Jacob tells her about. So she ditches them and goes to the bookstore. As she is heading back, it's dark now. She's walking through an alley on her way to the restaurant to meet the girls. And these men corner her in this alley, surround her. We know it's the same guys that were banging on the window earlier because one of them says in voiceover, "Hey, we saw you in the dress store." Like, okay, whatever. And one of them is like slurring and you hear like cans or bottles being kicked. So apparently they're supposed to be drinking or drunk. I didn't see any cans or bottles on the ground, but you hear it. So that's supposed to imply for the viewing audience that these guys are drunk and being stupid. So yeah, so the 5 men are cornering Bella. They're harassing her. She kicks one of the guys. Edward, in his car, comes speeding into the alley, hops out of the car, tells Bella to get in, and he starts staring all the men down. Apparently, they are very afraid of his waifish gaze because they all back off. And Bella gets in the car, and then he gets in the car, and they're just so intimidated by him. I don't see it. But okay. So they speed away and get to the restaurant where her friends are coming out. They have finished eating, and they're totally fine. This kind of bugged me. They're totally fine with the thought that Bella blew them off again, and this time for a boy. They're all, oh, it's Edward. Oh, okay, it's fine. It's totally fine that you blew us off. Like, What? Bella is a bad friend. Why are you friends with her? Why do you care? You don't need her in your life. You guys are a perfectly fine, tight knit, happy group of friends without her stupid, gloomy ass. Why do you need her? In any event, they forgive her for this. And Edward's like, well, I better make sure Bella eats and I'll go ahead and take her home. And the girls are like, okay. And they leave Bella. Why are they so forgiving of Bella's shit? For real. So she ditches them further by staying there with Edward, and they go into the diner. She asks Edward how he knew where she was, and he says, I feel very protective of you. Why? Why? What? What is there to protect? She's this weirdo who doesn't really hang out with you and know you well, and you don't know her well, but you're just drawn to her because of her blood type. Why do you feel protective? Why? I don't get it. So then he secretly divulges quietly to her he can read the minds of everybody except her, conveniently. And she says, God, I'm just dying, you guys. He says he can read minds except hers. And she immediately says, because it's something wrong with her. Is there something wrong with me? Yes, you narcissistic, selfish bitch. This guy just told you who you saw have superhuman strength with a van, and now he tells you he can read minds. And the first fucking thought you have is that he can't read yours because something's wrong with you. Why is it always about you? You narcissist. Oh my God. I'm dead. I'm dead. Like I can't. I just can't with her. He told you he can read fucking minds. God. Oh, okay. Then Edward tells her he doesn't have the strength to stay away from her anymore. Really? Really, Edward? I don't, at this point, I just have to say whatever. They get in the car and start to go home, and they both reach for the heater at the same time, and she notices his hand is ice cold. Okay, lots of people's hands are cold. Big deal. But I guess it's supposed to be so ridiculously cold that it's severely noticeable. I don't get that feeling, but because she makes a comment, I don't know. Her acting isn't that good in this scene, especially because we just are supposed to know he's cold because he's a vampire. But if you don't know that, this scene is supposed to give you that inclination that something's wrong with his body temperature, and she doesn't really deliver it. It's kind of sad. So they come across while driving home the police station at Forks, and they see her dad's car and Dr. Cullen's car. They see he's there. So they find out that it was an animal attack, they think, at the boathouse. And there's a moment inside with Bella and her dad at the station. It's supposed to be because I guess her dad was good friends with the guy that got killed. There's supposed to be this little moment of Bella being sympathetic and like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, Dad. And, he gives her a can of pepper spray to tell her to be safe. All I'm thinking during this scene is I want to shave that dead caterpillar off of his upper lip. It's so bad. And I don't know if they felt like Billy Burke was too young to look like he'd be Bella's dad. And so they're like, you better get a mustache to make you look more like Magnum PI. Like, I don't know what the deal is with that. That's all I was thinking during the scene. I couldn't care less about them trying to like bond in some weird way. But also the scene is so fast. Any bonding that you think is going to happen doesn't really happen because she just says sorry and he gives her the pepper spray and she's just like, whatever, Dad. Like, let's go home. Okay. So then they are at home. Bella opens up her book that she got from the bookstore and immediately sees something about the cold one and closes the book right away before even really reading anything and starts Googling. Now, why even go to the damn bookstore and blow your friends off with the dress shopping to get this book that you look at for 22 fucking seconds? You're going to Google anyway. Why not just Google about the legend? I don't get it. In the age of computers, Anyway, she's Googling instead of looking at the book. And of course, she finds descriptions of the cold one referring to speed, cold, strength, the undead. All of the buzzwords appear for us in quick succession on the screen. So we get the hint of what Edward is all about. We already knew all of these things already about him because we saw him be fast. We saw him be strong. We know he's cold. We don't need all these buzzword reminders like fucking lazy bullshit writing. The next day, Bella gets Edward to follow her into the woods off school property and then confronts him with all of those buzzwords. And in a weird sentence, she says, you speak like you're from a different time. No. He really doesn't. I've been listening to him in the few scenes he did speak in this film so far. He does not speak like he's from a different time. Okay? I don't know why she says that. She asks him how old he is. I literally laughed out loud. I was like so done at this point of being hit over the head with all this the bullshit. I was like, really? Really? So he jokes and says 17 and it's like, mm-hmm. I do like that the director again tries to do something different and we get all these crazy camera angles as Bella says that she knows he's a vampire and they're shooting him fast and crazy from all these different angles. He grabs her immediately, throws her piggyback, and races up the mountain so that they can get out of the cloud cover and into the sunlight so that she can see him sparkle. Oh my God, I'm dead. So he goes into the sun and his skin sparkles, and she says, it's like diamonds. He's so beautiful. Well, he says, yeah, I'm a killer. Just also, I'm a killer. I have killed people, you know. She's, you're beautiful. Oh my God. Get over yourself. It's so stupid. And also, vampires shouldn't sparkle. I'm just saying, what is the logic of why their skin is like that? I would like to know. Maybe it's in the book. And again, because I didn't read the book, I don't have any reference point for this. I would like to know why they sparkle because it's fucking stupid. Just saying. At this point, I was so irritated by all the sparkly bullshit that I paused it because I was freaking out. This movie was so dumb. I had to time check and I was like, oh my God, I still have an hour of this film left. How? How is that possible? I have an hour. Oh, I was miserable, let me tell you. It's been so long since I'd seen this, and I didn't think I was gonna re-hate it as much as I hate it. Yeah, it was bad. He further explains that he's killed humans in the past, but now the Cullens only kill animals. But Bella's scent is like heroin. Oh God. So her scent is like a drug. What? Out of all the people in all the history of the world, Bella's it? Bella's the only one ever? I call bullshit on that, first of all. It's so dumb. Ugh. Okay. He doesn't know if he can control himself around her. And she says she doesn't care. What? You just hate life so much that you got to live on the edge. Your life is so fucking boring because you are too much of a turd to interact with your friends and give a shit about your peers' lives that you don't care if he kills you. Are you serious? She, she says she's afraid of losing him. That's what she's afraid of. What? All of a sudden, after nothing substantial has happened for over an hour or almost an hour, and this is where you decide you can't lose him? What, because he fucking sparkles? Are you serious? What? He says, you don't know how long I've waited for you. 3 seconds ago, you wanted to kill her because she's a drug. What? What is happening? He says in the next quote, so the lion fell in love with the lamb. And she says, what a stupid lamb. I say you're both motherfucking idiots. That's what I say. And at this point, I'm like, you fucking deserve each other. You guys are both so stupid. I can't handle life right now. So they lie on the grass, and the sun shines on Edward, and he's so sparkly and pretty. Cut to Bella narrating that yes, Edward is a vampire, and part of him clearly thirsted for her blood, and yet she was in love with him. Do not even get me started on teenagers throwing around the L word. Nobody should be allowed to use that word until they're at least 30 years old. Are you fucking for real? She doesn't even know him and she's in love with him. Get the fuck out of town on a fast train right now, Bella. Seriously. Let's move this along because this is so hard. Cut to school. Edward and Bella arrive together in the same car, and she has to point out everyone is staring. And of course, everyone is staring and making a fuss. Really? Who gives a shit? Seriously. Who cares if they're together? Apparently, Bella's still the talk of the town, and because it's with a Cullen, they're going to be a hot news item. Who cares? Ugh. Then we get another quick cut. This movie does that. They don't transition fluidly, which bothers me when I'm watching a film. They cut to Bella and Edward walking in the woods again, and Edward explains that Carlisle Cullen, Dr. Cullen, wouldn't change somebody into a vampire unless or if there was another choice, unless he had to. He explains that Carlisle found him in 1918 dying of the Spanish flu. So we get a little insight into who Edward is and, you know, what time he's from. I don't think in 1918 they spoke that drastically different from how we speak now. Again, Bella saying, "You speak like you're from a different time." Fuck off. This part had me dying as well. He says they only eat animals now, which is like a human only eating tofu, like being a vegetarian. I think Edward needs a dictionary because only eating animals instead of humans, being like a human being a vegetarian. It's not the same fucking thing. You eat animals, you're not a vegetarian. You know what they need? The Cullens. They need some True Blood. That's the crossover we need. They need some True Blood. Yeah, and then they wouldn't have to have animals either. He goes ahead and tells Bella about other killer vampires who don't honor that code. He points out that he can read minds and Alice can see the future subjectively and doesn't tell us any of the powers that anybody else has, which I felt left me flat. I was like, oh, come on. I want to know like what everybody can do. At least give me some little interesting tidbit in this fucking slog. No, just that Alice can see the future. Okay, fine. So the next day, I get a little excited because I think we're going to get to see some of what everybody can do because Edward takes Bella home to meet the family, quote unquote. It's kind of funny that they have a giant ass framed piece of art on the stairwell of all the graduation caps and it looks like a color wheel, like an art color wheel, all the different graduation caps and a gradation from like light to dark. And Bella says something about, oh my God, there's so many. And she's like, you know, Edward says, well, you know, the younger you start out somewhere, the longer you can stay. So obviously they bounce around and they do high school over and over and over again. So he shows Bella his room. And of course, she has to observe that there's no bed. And he says, well, he doesn't sleep ever. And then he grabs her, leaps out the open window into the trees with Bella on his back and starts tree hopping. Apparently, she's really impressed by this, and he even calls her a pet name of Spider Monkey. How that is a cute pet name, I don't know. I don't know why this is exciting to her. Maybe because they made it a point to show us how sad and boring her life really is, which again is her own motherfucking fault. But this is exciting for her to go tree hopping. Okay. Next day, Bella arrives at dinner to meet her dad at the diner, and her friends are there hanging out in the parking lot. I guess they're bored. They're like playing hacky sack or throwing a football or some shit. I don't know. Whole bunch of teenagers out front of this diner. So she goes in and sits with her dad. And this is where I was like, wait a second. At the counter in the diner, when the scene opens, the waitress makes a point to lean in, and there's a woman with dark hair sitting with a laptop at the counter. And the waitress slides her a burger and says, "Here's your veggie plate, Stephanie." Calls her by name right in front of the camera. So I quickly Googled because I thought I remembered that a lady named Stephanie wrote the Twilight books. Sure enough, Stephanie Meyer, that is her doing a cameo in her own movie adaptation. I mean, if you're going to do that, at least be a Stephen King and give yourself some lines, right? She just wanted a free trip to Forks. Okay, so in the diner there, Dad is trying to connect with her. Again, sweetheart of a man, Dad, making an attempt at this selfish piece of shit child he has, trying to connect with her, asking if she's dating anyone. And she is like, "Ugh, are we really going to talk about boys? Fuck off. Your dad is making an attempt to fucking connect with you, and you're going to shut that shit down." I just am like, really? Really? I fucking hate I don't like her. I can't enjoy this movie because I don't like one of the main fucking characters. I don't know how anybody finds her likable in any way. There's nothing redeeming about her. So now they go home. Edward sneaks into her room and they have their first kiss. Over an hour has passed. They finally have a first kiss. They talk until she falls asleep on his chest. Oh, okay. That must be true love that has to be together forever. God, insulting. The next day, Bella introduces Edward officially to her dad. Her dad knows who he fucking is, but he, whatever. In true bitchy Bella style, she says to her dad, "Be nice," when he's gonna be introduced. It's like, fuck you. When is your dad not nice, you bitch? So, all right. Edward takes Bella to play baseball with his family in a thunderstorm. This makes no sense. So, do they do this because they don't want to sparkle in the sunlight? Do they do this because they make so much damn noise, cracking those home runs that they need the thunder so that it's disguising how they're playing ball? I don't know. Oh, it's so fucking stupid. So they want to showcase here in this scene how fast and strong everybody is. Okay, yes, got it. You know what? We got that when we met Edward. We know he's fast and strong, but let's have this dumbass baseball scene to show everybody hitting balls and shit. The game gets interrupted by the arrival of the three rogue vampires from earlier in the movie that killed the guy in the boathouse. We find out their names are Laurent, James, and Victoria. Victoria, shows up later in Eclipse, and she's played by Bryce Dallas Howard. I would have preferred to see Bryce Dallas Howard in this film as Victoria, but as we find out, Victoria doesn't get shit to do in this movie. Maybe that's why they didn't bother with a big name. But anyway, okay, so the wind blows and they get a whiff of Bella's scent. Her magical, mystical heroin drug of a scent. Oh God, everything gets all tense. Like the vampires get all amped up and they're like, "Ooh, we're gonna get Bella." And the Cullens all lean in and they're like, "No, you're not." And then everyone goes, "Okay." And the scene ends without incident. Again, I want a vampire movie. That's not what this is. This is like so Romeo Juliet bullshit, stupid ass. I want a vampire stuff to happen. Like, come on. They tease you that there's going to be this fight between vampire clans. Nothing. Without incident, Edward and Bella take off. Now, they do discover that James has that whiff of Bella and he's not going to let it go. So they rush home and Bella packs a bag because they're going to get her the hell out of Dodge. So James, he's a master tracker and he's going to track Bella. She and Edward take off and she says shitty stuff to her dad on the way out as she's leaving, I guess because she wants to confuse him and upset him more. Like, what is the point of that? She even says to Edward, like, "Oh, I said crappy stuff to him, like my mom said to him when she left him." And it's like, yeah, because you're a fucking little bitch. That's why you're such a dumbass. You couldn't just say, "Oh, I'm spending the night at Jessica's house or whatever." No, you have to just do this weird ass plan. But luckily, James sees them leave her house in the truck, and so he doesn't try to go after the dad. So Bella, oh, they go to the Cullens house. That's right. And then Bella gets in a car with Alice and Jasper, and they start to head south to go to Phoenix. And everyone else gets Bella's clothes on, like her scent on their jackets and stuff. And they're going to all run around and distract James because he's a master tracker. So they're going to throw him off. And this kills me. When they're getting ready to leave, Edward leans into Bella and he's like, "You're my life now." What? What is the appeal besides the fact that she smells so good you want to fucking bite her? What is the appeal? Seriously, especially since you've lived since, before 1918 when you were changed. You'd lived for, 100 plus years. She's the most fucking interesting human you've met? I doubt that. Like, what is the appeal? Anyway, so it is what it is. He's all about keeping her safe, so they take off. Her, I guess, flat, emotionless voice, her drab wardrobe, her drama, her sulking, that's all worth keeping around. Edward really wants that in his life. He's going to do whatever he can to keep her safe. Alice, Jasper, and Bella, they head to the hotel room in Phoenix. And in this room, Alice has a vision of mirrors. So she starts describing it to Jasper. He draws it, and Bella realizes that's her old ballet studio from there in Phoenix when she was a small child. Edward calls Bella, and again, I have to shake my head. He says, "I'll do whatever it takes to keep you safe." This is your mission and purpose in life? Get a fucking puppy, okay? They're way less drama and hassle than a Bella. James calls Bella now from her mom's house and says, "I've got your mom, and if you don't meet me, something's going to happen to her, and meet me at your old ballet studio." Oh, convenient. So, voiceover narration now as Bella grabs a taxi and she's en route to meet James to sacrifice herself, she thinks, for her mom. Her voiceover narration from the same quote from the beginning of the movie about dying in the place of someone you love. So she goes to the studio where James is taunting her with a video camera. Playing with your food? Maybe? Is that what this is tantamount to? He's taunting her with the video camera, and he's like, "Say something for Edward so he knows, oh my God, shut up. Just kill this bitch already. Seriously, I'm behind you, James. I am rooting for you. Take her out. I'm done." Edward swoops in, and he and James have this big fight. The studio gets all torn up, and they rip up the floor. They smash windows. James gets a bite on Bella, though, bites her on the arm, and she starts convulsing and freaking out like she's having a seizure. The rest of the Cullens show up and stop Edward from killing James and drag him over to Bella, and they say, "You've got to suck the venom out." What? To save Bella. What? What venom? What are you talking about? So apparently a vampire bite puts venom in you now that will kill you? I thought that they killed you because they rip your neck out or whatever. I guess not in the PG-13 version, because that would be too graphic. So Edward starts to suck the venom out of Bella, and Dr. Cullen is like, "You have to force yourself to stop. You have to have restraint. You don't want to kill her. You have to stop." So he finally finds the will to stop sucking her blood. Oh my God. I'm so insulted by this. So the rest of the Cullens continue to make a big fire. They, I guess, rip up James's body and burn him because they say that's what they need to do, but they don't really show it. So James is no longer a threat. He's dead. Bella wakes up in the hospital to her mom and Edward, who is quote unquote sleeping. He's clearly faking it for the mom to look normal so he can hear everything they're saying. So the mom goes to get the dad. She says the dad's in the cafeteria. And Bella tells her mom, though, before she leaves, well, I don't want to come live in Phoenix with you. I want to live in Forks with dad. And mom's like, what? Say what now? I mean, they concocted this crazy story that, Bella fell down the stairs and that's how she got hurt in the, confrontation with James or whatever. They just say it was an accident and that Edward, clearly wasn't protecting her that well because she got hurt. And so everyone's shocked that she wants to stay in Forks. But we know as a viewing audience, it's because she's madly in love with Edward. Oh my God, I'm dead. So Edward tells her, you know what? You need to go to Jacksonville so that I won't hurt you. And of course, in true drama queen style, Bella freaks out and says, we can't be apart. You can't leave me. She is beyond codependent at this point. It's so bad. This movie is just riddled with bad messages. It's so sad that so many impressionable young girls saw and continue to see this movie and get the message that their life isn't valuable and isn't worth anything unless they have a boy that makes their life amazing and magical and gives them value, and they have to have a boy to live for, and they're not living unless they're in love with a boy. It's such bad messaging. It's so bad. Even though I don't like Bella, I really don't like the message that this movie sends, which is that she's nothing without him. She can't live without him. She has to be with him. Her life is over if they're not together. It's ridiculous, frankly. It's completely ridiculous. And it's a horrible message to tell young girls. So Edward and Bella, with Bella in a foot booty, a cast, and a boot, go ahead and head off to prom. And I love that you see all her little, all the tertiary characters all having a good time. All her friends are having fun. And it's so good that Mike went ahead and asked Jessica because they're clearly so cute and having a good time. And when Edward is parking the car, though, out front, oh, I forgot to mention this. Jacob just shows up, pops out of the bushes with a tie on, like he's going to go to the prom, but he's not. And you can see in this scene that his wig is clearly a bad wig at this point. But he asks Bella on behalf of his father to go ahead and break up with Edward, that they shouldn't be together. And Bella's like, oh, well, tell your dad thanks. I'll take it under advisement. Like, okay, appreciate you stopping by. Bye now. And so Jacob leaves, and it's like Edward makes some lame ass comment about, oh, I leave you for 2 seconds and the wolves descend on you. Ha ha ha. It's like, well, unless we read the book, we don't get that joke. It goes right over our little heads. I'm sorry. Later you find out Jacob is a wolf. So we don't know that though in this movie at this point. Fuck you, writers. Seriously. Okay, so let's wrap this shit up because this is painful for me. Edward and Bella slow dance in this little gazebo outside with 2 other couples. And when it comes time to talk, magically the other couples disappear so that they can talk about their vampire stuff. Conveniently, she asks Edward to make her a vampire. And he rightly declines, like, don't do it. She says she dreamed about being with him forever. I'm so done. You've known him for a couple of months. Thankfully, he doesn't bite her. He declines, but they do kiss. And then it pulls out to give this really actually pretty shot of all the gazebo and the sparkling lights in the water. And there's this terrible voiceover of Bella. No one will surrender tonight. But I won't give in. I know what I want. You're fucking 17. You don't know shit, girl. Oh my God. So then, of course, it pans and it's beautiful prom stuff, and it shows a woman watching them from a window, and she turns around and takes her hair down, and we see it's Victoria who's been watching them as she descends the staircase into this fade into the end and the credits. I kept watching just in case because the credits don't ever go to black. They're showing pictures of everybody saying who played it, the cast, and they're showing pretty pictures of like outside in the woods, and then it cuts to like, or not cuts, but like fades to like a gray shot of just like trees on the water, and it keeps scrolling. And I'm thinking they're going to show something like a teaser or like a Marvel-esque type, end credit scene. Nothing happens. It doesn't even say like stay tuned for new moon or, the saga continues or because they call it the Twilight saga. Nothing exciting happens. So definitely do not have to sit through the credits, which I wish I would have known because this movie was so painfully long already. And then sitting through the credits was like so much. This movie overall is not light and fluffy and fun, nor is it good storytelling. It's not good writing. It's not compelling in any way. It's only PG-13, so it's not graphic or violent or scary. The love story that's supposed to be happening is non-existent for 3/4 of the film, the first 3/4. You get to see a lot of what a selfish, narcissistic human Bella is and how she doesn't care about her actions affecting anybody around her. She's extremely selfish. She's rude, brooding, depressed. I can see why something shiny and new, literally, would be fun for her because she is drab and just is sad. Her life is just sad. But you know what? It's by choice. I don't like the message that it's acceptable to treat people the way she treats everybody in her life. I mean, she misses her mom, but she's blowing her off. She's shitty to her dad, who's clearly making an effort. She blows her friends off and ditches them and is rude. It's unbelievable to me why anybody tries to be a part of her life. I mean, aside from her parents. Who needs that, It's not a good message to say that you are not the driving force for happiness in your own life. You need external things to make your life better and exciting and fun. And you need to latch on to somebody else to make life worth living. It is so, so terrible a message. I can't even stress that enough. This movie is garbage because of the bad messaging, the bad writing, the poor, emotionless acting from the main character. Overall, it's not a compelling love story. It's not a horror movie. It's not any one thing that it tries to be and excel at. It tries to do several things and it falls flat in all of them, which is why I hate this movie. Hate, 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 hate it. It's a terrible motion picture. And I will never bother reading the book because I can't imagine it's any more redeeming than the movie in any way. Maybe the characters are written better than they're performed in this motion picture. I still don't think that that would hook me and make me want to read it and care. But if you haven't seen this movie, I'm going to say probably a good choice. After listening to me ruin it, trust me, you don't want to sit through it and torture yourself unless you are a glutton for punishment and you're dying to know. Actually, let me rephrase that. No, if you haven't seen this movie, go watch it now, even after listening to me rant about it, and then see if you can find something redeeming about it. I defy you to find something positive and redeeming about this movie and hit me up on socials and let me know because I really don't see it. I just don't. So, all right, that's going to wrap up my little mini rant here on Twilight. Thank you so much for listening to me go on and on about my hatred of movies, even though I'm sure it's tough if you enjoyed this film to listen to me shit on it for an hour. But I have to rant about the ones I hate as much as the ones I love because I feel like it's doing a disservice if everybody is always talking about how great something is and there's never a counterpoint to it. So lots of people, like I said, with the Rotten Tomatoes score, had a high audience review. Lots of people like this movie. I just felt like for once I needed to give the dissenting opinion and say, you know what? I'm on the opposite side of the fence. I hate this movie, and I like to give details as to why. So it's not just someone going, oh, that movie's dumb. The end. No, I'm going to give you an in depth analysis for an hour of why I hate this movie step by step. So hopefully you went on this journey with me and appreciate where I'm coming from. If not, like I said, if you have an opposing view, please hit me up on socials. I would love to know. Thank you so much for listening to Let's Talk Turkeys. This is Movie Miss, and until next time, bye bye. Hey listeners, Movie Miss here. Listen, I know you have a lot of options when it comes to podcasts, so thank you for listening to the show. I know everybody says this, but for a fledgling little show like ours that's just hanging on, we just finished season 4, we're rolling into season 5, it would really help us if you could subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Good Pods. We're also on Pandora, Audible, Amazon Music. It would really help us grow the show and reach more people if you could subscribe and then rate and review, which is really the key part of it. Make sure to be part of our bad movie conversation by following us on social media. Interact with me on social media. I'm on Instagram at Movie Miss, which is movie_miss. The show is on Instagram at Let's Talk Turkeys. Also on Blue Sky at Let's Talk Turkeys and Facebook. We're on X. I'm honestly not sure how much longer I'm going to have the show on there, but currently the handle is at Gobble Podcast. Get it? Gobble, 'cause like a turkey. You can also chat with like-minded bad movie lovers in our Facebook discussion group. And like I mentioned, we're rolling into season 5. It is 2025. The show, it's been a wild ride, still going strong. So if you have a movie that you would like to hear covered on the show, let me know by emailing direct at letstalkturkeys, all one word, at yahoo.com. Also, hit me up on socials if you want to be a guest on the show. Always looking for guests. I can assign you a movie, something we think is fun, or you can bring a movie that you think is a bad movie if it has a low Rotten Tomatoes score, or you just really don't like the movie but you like to talk about it. That's half the fun, I think. Again, this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it. Without you, the show wouldn't still be kicking around. So thank you so much for hanging in there with us.
I'll be back.
Get the fuck out of here! No, I cannot.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Why don't you get the fuck out of here?
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Good God.